Well, just days shy of the final of the 2020 Irish Laurels, sponsored by the friends and supporters of Cork Greyhound Racing. We are talking to three men that have more than a passing interest, and of course, three men with good stock in greyhound racing, plenty of success between them. We're going to start with Shane Dowling, then we're going to speak briefly to Thomas Glynn, the owner of Brodys Magic, and we'll finish up with Kieran Ryan, a man who I described earlier in the week as one of the luckiest owners in greyhound racing. Lads, good to see you. I'm afraid, Thomas, you're behind the black wall there, but you're with us all the same.
Sorry about that, lads. Yeah, we're having a bit of a technical glitch here, but try and get a full across there very soon.
Once the main thing is the dog doesn't have a technical glitch on Saturday night, everything's well with him.
All good at the minute, thank God. Yeah, he's in good form, thank God.
Shane, I know you're down in Castle Island. You're ready to go out in the field. You're a busy man. We won't keep you too long. The old Warrior's in good form.
Yeah, we're in sunny Castle Island today, Ian. The Warrior is great. I'll tell you.
And what about the dog?
The dog. Don't mind the dog. Don't mind him. Worry about me. Well, the dog is absolutely bouncing. He came out of the race great. He's could I say about him? We weren't sure whether to run him in the Laurels, to be honest with you. Look, he was pushing on. The cold nights are coming, but he just keeps answering the call for us. So when he's in that good a form, you have to keep going. And who's to say, look, he's not there without a shout. Look, it's a tough final. His age is probably against him, but he's running as good as ever, and he's there with a chance.
We're back to you in a minute now, Shane. The last man we have to say hello to is Kieran Ryan. Kieran, a man that has tasted classic success in the past. You had to wait a little longer than the others. I'd say Saturday night was a tough one to watch at home.
Yeah, didn't really. Then we had to wait yesterday. Thanks to God we got a bye yesterday, so he's in good form. So hopefully he'll be up again Saturday night, but he's there anyway.
Yeah, he certainly is there. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, lads. We'll have a brief chat with each of you, and then we'll let you go on your merry way, because I know we all have busy lives to lead. And Shane, you're certainly one man that has a busy life to lead. You have a young child, you have a missus to keep happy, you have the boss to keep happy, and you're down in Castle Island trying to keep your coursing dogs happy. But ahead of Saturday night, the main thing is Ballymac Anton is happy.
Yeah, he's in good form, and he came out of the race well. We were quite happy. He got a lovely run around in the inside. We were just when we saw the draw, we were hoping he could we were probably thinking that the two early pacers, Brodys Magic and Grandview 10, were going to cut out the run, and we were just hoping we get a lovely little pitch in behind, sneak away in third. But I suppose he just came around the outside. Look, he's a strong running dog, and he did his job. We weren't too worried if he won or not, but he qualifying was the aim of the game, and he did that, and we were delighted.
The brilliant fawn. Philip Buckley described him in an earlier chat as the dog that just keeps on giving. He is one of those all-time stars, isn't he? Like, he's just a dream to own and to be involved in.
I couldn't say enough about him. I mean, from the word go, he's been a dream to handle. We actually started him off in Cork. We love going to Cork. Cork's a great place. It's probably one of the best maintained track in the country, and the people there are second to none, really. Like, you have some crack with all the lads there, and they're very accommodating at the track. But going back to Anton, look, everywhere he went, he kind of built a bit of a fan base. He'd leave that impression. And I suppose even if you didn't see him running, just to look at him, he's an absolute gorgeous dog. He's a standout dog. He's a real red fawn, a big 82 or 3 pound dog, and I suppose the fact that he can kind of run quickly as well helps. So yeah, and that's it.
He's one in the future. There's no problem bringing a bitch to.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, during the lockdown, Ian, the amount of phone calls we got, we never advertised them. The amount of phone calls he got, and we were in two minds what to do. We actually made a Curraheen pet him ourselves. We made a couple of more bitches ourselves, and he got a few bitches from, I think he got 3 bitches from around the country then. And people just rang up, and I suppose the thing about him is, look, he mightn't be the fastest dog in the country, but he will give you what he has. I think he's over 70 races, he's never finished last. And I think that's just a testament to the dog himself. I think he's nearly 27 or 6 or 7 open class wins, started an open and still going. So he's look, whether he comes last the next night or not, he has been a fantastic servant to us, and we love that dog.
I know on Saturday night he's facing a tricky draw in trap 3. We'd run to see in trap 2. You'd have loved to have swapped the two of them around.
Yeah, look, you'll take what you get, Ian. But in an ideal world, I think both of them would probably be happier the other way around. Well, I would personally, anyway, be closer to the fence would be great. But look, he's in 3. He's not badly drawn. I think it all comes down to the breaking on the night, like most things. The trapping. Look, Brodys Magic probably has the most superior early of all of them. If he traps and can hold his line, I think it's new territory for him being out in 6, and I think nobody knows what's going to happen. So at the end of the day, look, it's down to the dogs. We can only do our job, and we're hoping for a bit of luck and he pops out and does the business. That's all we want. And everyone else is the same. And look, I'd like to wish all the finalists the very best of luck.
Yeah, you've been there before. You know exactly that. In the classic final, you just have to take the luck when it comes your way.
Absolutely. Look, come here. You have to ride your luck. I suppose the week before we gave him a trial. He ran okay. We weren't blown away with him. We were thinking, would we, wouldn't we? And then he went in and he's just getting better and better every week. So that was probably a little bit of luck in itself.
Yeah. Well, listen, Shane, we know you were very busy and we said we'd let you go a little bit early. Off you go, and best of luck with the course and greyhounds today.
Thanks a million, guys, and all the best to all the finalists. Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Shane.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Right, well, next up, the man that's going to be attempting to set the pace out the front with his superstar Brodys Magic is Thomas Glynn. Thomas, you have a very fast greyhound in your hands. Ideally, you'd sooner be a bit closer to the fence, but listen, you're in a classic final and you're looking forward to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes, Ian, as you've said, look, we all seen Brodie, and he certainly loves the rails. He is definitely out there on unknown territory at the minute in trap 6. But look, no different what Shane has just said there. To get to the Laurels final is a great achievement, and we're delighted to be, in the final, Ian. And great credit to likes of Jimmy Barry Murphy and associates for what they've done down there, the great work they've done down there to make sure that the Laurels continues, and the great prize money and the work they've done is a great credit to all the people involved.
Here. I suppose from a draw point of view, I suppose if you had to have a dog beside you, Droopys Hamish is probably the right dog to have beside you, and which is Ethiopian for. She can trap, but you'd imagine Brodie should get across them. It's just whether in case he can get across the running to see a dog. If he does hit the front, well, we saw the pace he showed the other night. To pick up Grange 10 like that was just astounding.
Yeah, look, Brodie, he's a very fast dog, as we all know. He's been a good servant to us since we acquired him. He certainly loves the rails, as we all seen. When he's out in 2 or 3, even 4, he's inclined to just take that step into the left. We're hoping, fingers crossed, Ian, that he can come away on Saturday night, and if he does clear the 2 lads on his inner side, like, we have a chance then. You know what I mean? Because look, running to see it is a kind of dog that might come off the bend as well. So we're hoping there's no trouble in the race, and all the dogs come off safe and sound, and we have a good final. And fingers crossed, as I said, hopefully we can get there. But look, it's a brilliant final as well, and some classic dogs in there, and we're delighted to be involved, Ian.
David Murray's done a brilliant job with this dog. Like, it's worth pointing out that for most of this year, he was focusing on the sprinting. His first 5.25 of 2020 was in the opening round of the Laurels. It's a fair achievement to get him switched back to the 4 bends straight away and to perform at such a high level through the stake.
Yeah, well, look, David Murray, as you're well aware, in my opinion, I know we love great trainers and people out there. David Murray is a top class, a top class individual, but a top class trainer, a very, very thorough man. The work he puts into the dogs is just a great credit. He's done a fantastic job with Brodys Magic, and they're a good distance of a travel there, as we all know, from where David is based down to Cork, and it's a good bit of travel involved and getting the dog prepared, and it does take a bit out of Brodys Magic. He doesn't quite get the full blast of 5.25, as we all know, and he does a superb job to try and get him back for each race. But 28 seconds was a great run in his first 5.25, Ian, as you just said. And look, in my opinion, he's still capable of doing that sort of run, if he gets a clear run, if he holds his line, as you've said earlier on there.
Yeah, of course. The run he's produced the last 2 nights after missing the kick was astounding. Tommy Lyons has stressed it on the Talking Laurels podcast that he believes that if either night he'd broken on terms, he'd have broken 28 seconds, which is it's a fair statement to make, but it's hard to argue against it. You clearly have a greyhound with a lot of pace, a lot of a huge amount of talent, and he's only November 17. You've plenty to look forward to with him in the future.
Yeah, look, Ian, fingers crossed he comes off okay. We've got a good bit of joy out of him so far. Like, we got to the Bar 1 final, and here we are again in another classic final in the Laurels, huge final to be involved in. I said earlier on, we're absolutely delighted to be involved and be in the quality field of the 5 other dogs that are involved. And I'd like to wish all of the owners and trainers the best luck for this coming Saturday night. And also on a personal note, just yourself, Ian, I think you've done a fantastic job over the last couple of months. You know, when people couldn't get in and out, you know, to see our dogs running and etc. The likes of yourself there and Tommy Lyons on the Talking Laurels has been very exciting, and fair play to you. It's like guys you like Ida are keeping, you know, the things alive for us here. So well done.
Thanks, Thomas. We'd sooner not have to do it, you know, yourself. But listen, you'll be watching from the comfort of your couch on Saturday night?
We will, unfortunately. We'd love to be down there, but sure, look, it's great to have it live as well. It's another added bonus, I suppose, considering the times that we're in. We certainly will be tuned in, and hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, stay with us, Thomas, for another minute or two, because we're going to speak to a man that knows plenty about winning classics. Kieran Ryan, as I said to you earlier on, I've described you as a very lucky owner in the past. You've had plenty of success, and who's to say you're not going to have more with Droopys, Hamish? You know one thing for certain, he'll be finishing faster than any greyhound in this race.
Yeah, he'll be finishing very fast. It'll all depend on the break. There'll be a lot of early in it. We will be last out. It's just the way we're going to get around the first 2 bends, and if he's near enough, going down the back straight, we'll have a spot.
Yeah, you of course have had some really, really top class performers in the past. Of course, Droopy's Twirl would be perhaps the best of them. She came from behind to win the classic, so you have that bit of experience.
Yeah, she came from behind. She was 8 lengths that night. It was a very exciting night. So.
Hamish has always shown real promise. He ran in the opening 2 rounds of the unraced stake at was a Tralee earlier in the year. Showed massive pace in the first and second round. Actually got knocked out in the second round, but in defeat showed plenty. Perhaps went off the boil a little bit at one point. You ran him over 6 bends. He won a 6 bend start, but in recent weeks he seems to really recapture that sparkle, that bit of drive.
He has, yeah, and he got into the Laurels by mistake. Actually, we had another dog going in for it, a brother of Running to See Her, and unfortunately he just got a niggly injury, so we had to pull him out. So we put in Hamish instead of him, and he just surprised us. It'll be some fun with him all the way through it.
Yeah, he's a big finisher. He's a dog that'll go further in time again, I'm sure.
Oh yes, hopefully. Like 525 is not his distance really. Like he'd be 550, 600 yard dog, definitely. Like, so we'll have a lot of fun with the future.
And Johnny Glennon, he's some character. I know you're very close links with him for a long time now. It'd be great to see him win the Laurels.
Oh, I love it. It's an honour for us to get to the Laurels final. It'll be an emotional night Saturday night with the loss of our good friend Bart. But it is an honour for a Corkman to get to the final of Laurels. If I come last, I'd be a happy man leaving the track. Once that dog comes off right, I'd be happy.
I suppose when you go in that attitude, anything you achieve is a bonus thereafter, you know. And this is a dog which, you know, I know they're not betting on it, but he'd be probably the biggest priced to finish last, because it seems nearly impossible that he'd finish last or even second last, because when 1 or 2 of these aren't going to lead, this fellow will be, as I said, absolutely tearing up that home straight. And from halfway, it's not as if he's only doing his running home. He's doing it from down the back straight too. Yeah,
coming down the back straight, if he's 4 or 5 lengths behind, you will be on a sweat then coming home if he gets a run through him. But there's fierce early space, like Running to See Her. If he does his running, Brodys magic on the outside, if he gets a run around the first bend, like, you're not going to pick him up doing 28-20.
We have to ask you, you watched the semi-finals from home, I assume, Kieran, did you?
No, I was in the track.
You were in the track. And I suppose on the night, there was a few anxious moments. Were you waiting for the photo finish? Did you think you were through, or?
You couldn't see it. Like in the track, you couldn't see it. We didn't know whether we were through or not. They were all saying then it was a dead heat. Didn't know what was going to happen then. I was never in that situation before, so we were just waiting to see what was going to happen.
I suppose it was the proximity of the other dogs. It wasn't just the 2 dogs that were involved in the photo finish. It was the proximity of the other dogs around them, that there was no photo finish possible.
Yeah, you just couldn't see it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
We had a chance. We were still there. As I said, it's just to get to the final alone. So we're there anyway.
I suppose after getting a little bit of luck in the runoff and the fact that it didn't happen, the walkover, do you feel that maybe luck is going to be your ally?
Look, it can be, yeah. It can work out that way. If there's a small bit of trouble, obviously you don't want to see trouble. You don't want to see any dog getting hurt. But if there's a small bit of trouble, 6 coming in, 2 way out, we could just slip around that bend, a couple of lengths behind, and you're in for a sweat then coming home.
Come high, wide and handsome, get there on the line.
That's it, yeah.
Well, listen, lads, thanks for the chat. You're both looking forward to a classic decider. Thomas, have you ever been the classic before? Apart from obviously the sprint, of course.
No, the sprint was the first time we were fortunate enough to get to a classic, Ian. I was out dogs years ago, and I got out for about 13 years, and fell back in love with him about 2 years ago, and got involved with David. And look, we've had a good few dogs there with him. And in fairness, he's not only Brodys, he's I had a dog called Dance Rojo. You may remember him running there.
I do, yeah.
He done a really good job with him. Another dog called Glory Calara. So again, I suppose I can't express enough about David, Ian. A very, very, very good trainer. No different, I suppose, look, than all trainers out there. Like, you're talking to 2 individuals there that are very, very good men also. But I mean, look, we're delighted to be in this classic, as I said earlier on. And look, fingers crossed, we have a good final. And look, hopefully we can come out the right end of it, with the help of God.
Indeed. Well, best of luck, Tom. Kieran, best of luck to yourselves. Of course, you've already tasted classic success, so you can't be too greedy.
No, can't be. Look, I love the game. Got in about 15 years ago, and I just love it. Just being there, just love the excitement of it.
Well, Tom was referring to David as a top quality trainer, and he certainly is. But I'll tell you one thing, just looking through the list of names involved in the Greyhounds in this final, there are some really red hot operators. It promises to be an absolutely tremendous Laurels decider. And of course, you can watch the action on grireland.ie on Saturday night, live streaming from Curraheen Park. Best of luck, lads. Thanks for joining us again. And hopefully next time we're talking to you, you'll be talking about your Laurels winner.
Thanks very much, Ian. Hopefully we're tuning in a bit better the next day. God bless.
Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Kieran.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks very much.
Cheers, lads. Goodbye now.